Surround yourself with people who make you happy, people who make you laugh, who help you when you're in need, people who genuinely care. They are the ones worth keeping in your life. Everyone else is just passing through. Karl Marx. Let me ask you something personal. When was the last time you sat with someone who didn't want anything from you? Someone who simply cared about your soul. Not your success, not your mistakes, just you. Karl Marx may be remembered for politics and economics, but in this one quote, he spoke straight to the human heart, to the core of what we often forget as adults, that no amount of success, independence, or self-help books can replace the quiet power of a good person by your side. We're told to chase goals, break limits, be strong. But sometimes, real strength is knowing who to hold close and who to let go. This quote is more than advice. It's a filter for your life. And maybe, just maybe, it's the one filter we never stop needing. It's almost ironic, isn't it? In a world that celebrates productivity, independence, and personal branding, the most overlooked wisdom is this: you become who you're surrounded by. Not instantly, but slowly, subtly, deeply. Karl Marx wasn't talking about networking. He wasn't giving career advice. He was pointing to something ancient and sacred: the emotional ecosystem that builds or breaks your sense of peace. Think about it. We carefully choose our clothes, our diets, even our passwords. But when was the last time we chose, really chose, the energy we let into our everyday lives? Some people walk into your life like a hug you didn't know you needed. Others drain your peace, one joke, one passive-aggressive comment at a time. Marx called it clearly: people who make you happy, who make you laugh, who help you when you're in need. That's not naive. That's mental hygiene. Yet most of us don't treat relationships like that. We keep people around out of guilt, habit, history. But what if, just like spring cleaning your house, you could gently, honestly reorganize your emotional space? Not with anger, not with drama, just with awareness. Because some people were never meant to stay. And some people, they are quiet miracles in human form. And the only tragedy is not noticing them until they're gone. So how do we apply this wisdom in the mess and beauty of adult life? Let's be honest. Adulthood often feels like a blur of obligations. You wake up tired. You carry silent battles. You smile through rooms where you don't fully feel seen. In the middle of all that, it's easy to forget. You're allowed to choose peace over pressure, people over performance, connection over convenience. Here's how this quote can become a compass. Starting today, 1. Do a quiet inventory of your relationships, not with judgment, with truth. Ask yourself, who do I feel lighter around? Who makes me feel heard, not just helped? Who checks in even when I have nothing to offer? And just as important, who do I walk away from feeling smaller, tense, or secretly drained? You don't need to cut everyone out, but you do need to realign your emotional gravity. Because where your attention goes, your life follows. 2. Invest in the quiet, kind people. They're easy to overlook. They don't demand. They don't perform. They just show up when you're sick, when you're silent, when you're struggling. Text them, call them, make space. They are the rare medicine in a noisy world. 3. Practice courageous boundaries. You don't owe everyone access to your mind, your time, or your energy. It's not rude to protect your peace. It's not selfish to choose people who feel like home over those who feel like pressure. As adults, we're constantly navigating stress, loss, fear of being alone. But choosing who surrounds you, that's one of the few things fully in your hands. When everything feels chaotic, the right person won't solve all your problems, but they'll remind you you're not alone in them. That reminder sometimes is the one thing that keeps us standing. Let me tell you about Danilo. Danilo was 42nd, divorced, father of one, a solid man, worked hard, paid his dues, but deep inside, he was drowning in silence. His days were filled with emails, errands, and expectations, but his soul, it hadn't been truly listened to in years. He had friends, the kind who showed up for birthdays, who talked more than they listened, who laughed at his jokes, but never looked in his eyes long enough to ask, "Are you okay?" Then one night, something broke. Danilo got a call. His father had passed, suddenly, a stroke. No warning, no goodbye. He froze. He hung up the phone, and for the first time in years, he cried like a child. But what happened next? It wasn't the loudest friend who showed up, not the successful one, not the one who always gave advice. It was Ella, a former coworker. Soft voice, gentle presence, the kind of person you forget until you need someone real. She came with no expectations. She brought food, not advice. She didn't ask what to say. She simply stayed. She sat beside Danilo in silence, and in that silence, he began to breathe again. Days passed. Grief didn't vanish. But Daniel noticed something. His healing didn't come from those who had the right words. It came from the one who had the right heart. Months later, Danilo changed more than just his phone wallpaper. He changed his circle. He let go of the friends who liked his success, but couldn't hold his sadness. He started showing up for people like Ella, and being someone like her. Because in that moment of pain, he realized the people who stay through the storm are the ones worth dancing with in the sun. The truth is simple, but simple doesn't mean easy. We spend so much of life trying to be enough, for work, for family, for the world. But sometimes, the only thing we really need is someone who sees us when we're not performing, who sits with us when we have nothing to give. Karl Marx's quote isn't just about happiness, it's about survival. Because loneliness doesn't always look like being alone. It looks like being surrounded and still unseen. You don't need dozens of friends. You don't need impressive connections. You need a few real ones. The kind that ask how your heart is, not just your goals. The kind that celebrate your quiet joys and hold you when everything falls apart. Life is too short to beg for attention, too precious to be spent explaining your worth, and too fragile to be shared with people who only love the version of you that's smiling. So, look around and look within. Keep the ones who bring you peace. Release the ones who don't. And be brave enough to believe you deserve to be loved for who you are, not just for what you offer. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. And maybe that's where real happiness begins. If this message spoke to something in you, maybe it's because you've been carrying more than you show. Or maybe because you've been that person for someone else. The quiet anchor, the silent light. Either way, I'd love to know, who is that one person in your life you're grateful for? The one who stayed, the one who saw you. Tell me in the comments. And if no one comes to mind, Maybe this is your sign to become that person for someone else. If this video brought you peace, consider giving it a like. Not for me, but for the message. Share it with someone who needs this reminder today. Someone going through a silent battle. And if you want to walk this path of deep truths, gentle wisdom, and real human connection, you're welcome to subscribe. We're building something here. A space where being real is more important than being perfect. Thanks for being here. Take care of your heart and the ones who care for it too.